Hi, welcome back to the Salary Step Up series. I'm Rick Richardson. This is step 2 in the Salary Step Up series, and in this step, we're going to be discussing understanding the process. Now, what I want to convey in this is that we're going to create a plan and a process, and we're going to go step by step through this process and accomplish the goal of getting you your pay raise or promotion, whatever your goal is. Now, while we're doing this, I want you to understand these same things applied in a more general sense will help you in other areas of your life. So I don't want you to feel like you're investing this time and energy to just do something that's a one-off. This is something that as you try it in different areas and adapt it, you're going to find that you have a lot of other benefits from this series beyond just getting your pay increase. But that's our focus for now. I need you to start thinking about the specific vital information and as it applies to your career. So here's what I want, just the 30,000 foot view. Where are you and what information do we already have about your environment, your work environment, the company you work for, the industry you're in, all of that basic information. Just not to say here's all the data on it. This is just to say here's who I am, where I'm at, and what I know about my environment and my situation. All right, now in the next step we're going to start gathering information. So this is just to get a look around, a lay of the land type of approach. So as you're looking around at your situation and you're looking at your career and you start to ask yourself a few questions like, am I working in a career that I enjoy? Is this the job I want to have? Is this where I want to put my energy and efforts? Am I doing something that I really feel fulfilled in? Those types of more feeling-based questions are okay to be asking at this point. And the reason is that we want to build this plan and move forward, and as we're doing that, we want it to encompass your larger goals, what your plans are for the future and what you want to achieve into the future. So I want you to ask these questions and get a good feel for where you're at and where you're headed. As you move through this process, I want you to document what you're finding out, what you know, what you don't know. Write yourself questions and say, okay, I know this about my industry. This is what I don't know about it. Or I believe the industry is heading in this direction and I need to research that a little bit. Writing yourself questions and making notes to yourself in this process will do two things. One, it will help you to think further into it. And as you write that note down and you've put it in with the rest of your information you're putting into this process, it allows you to keep clearing your mind so that your forethought, the thoughts that are at the front of your thinking are always clear and focused on the task at hand. If something random pops into your mind, you just jot it down and know that you can go back and look at it later. You'll remind yourself by your own notes. You don't have to go off subject and then try to get back on it. That's too scattered, and we want to move quickly and with purpose, so we're going to stay very focused. So that technique should help you to remain focused, and when you go back and review that, if it was a valid question, if it was something you really need to know, you can address it later and give it the attention that it deserves. So you're going to start to understand that you don't have all the answers yet, and that's okay. Don't be concerned about that. We're going to find those answers. We're going to be very systematic about it. One thing you're going to find about this process is that I've developed it to be very clear. The reason that it is steps is because I want you to go one to the next to the next. And you're going to get to your eventual destination, but I want you to know that I have laid out the next step for you. We are going to get there, and you don't have to worry about it, but as you're going through each step, I want you to give it the thought and attention. So you don't have to be trying to think ahead and project ahead. You just need to be focusing on what you're doing now. So as you're doing that, and as you're feeling that you're getting a handle on the overall process and what you're heading towards, and you're defining your goals and all that, understand that the system is designed for you to go through it, and if you need to, you can go back and revisit it. That again is another reason why these are broken up into steps, is so that you can make a note and say, okay, I'm moving on from step 3. and I'm going to go on to step 4, but I may need to go back to step 3 because I have this question or that question. And you can revisit it later. Forward momentum is really important. I want you to stay focused, I want you to be clear thinking, and I want you to continue to move forward. If you feel that you're stagnating, move on to the next step and take a look at that. Feeling of stagnation might be because you're already done with the step you're on, you just don't feel that you are, and you are ready to move on to the next step. So continued motion is important. It's also something that I want you to feel that you can move at your own pace. So we want you to continue to press forward and move in that direction. We're in this together. I want you to know that I really appreciate your feedback in this, and that I can share this information with other people and have this give and take kind of relationship with those people that have used the series, and share that information back and continue to make it better and better. Now, I want to make sure that you understand I'm going to help you to accomplish a couple of things that are not just the nuts and bolts, the facts, and how to lay this out. I really want you to know that I intend to create some confidence and some strength and defining your motivations and all of those types of things. They're more emotional based, but my intent here is that you will see what you need to do and you will be able to accomplish that. And one of those techniques that I want you to have a good handle on, is best that you pick it up now, is that to understand that as you move through any process, you will gain confidence and comfort through repetition and exposure. So the way I've put that into this series is to have you go through each step in a small enough piece, very focused, and then to be able to check it off. And that idea that, okay, I've gone through this step, done, onto this step, done. And you, by checking it off, you will get that sense of accomplishment. You'll see the forward motion. You're going to build that momentum. And as we get into other phases, as we're preparing the presentation and then we're practicing the presentation, you're going to get this familiarity and comfort. Let me give you an example of this. When you first learned to drive a car, you got behind the wheel and you were very nervous and you were unsure of all of your actions, and you really had to think about everything you did, turning the blinkers on and off and putting the car into gear and all of that. And then after years of driving, you hop in the car and you don't have to give it all that thought. You can focus your thoughts on driving and driving safely and watching out for hazards and all that, but it takes much less conscious effort just to operate the car. Your attentions can be focused on the hazards on the road and any conditions that are changing, and it frees you up and allows you to be a better driver. You will experience that same process in this series. As we go through the steps and you experience these things and you get into the practice sessions and you start to feel that familiarity, by the time you get to the presentation itself and when you sit down with your boss and you're going to negotiate your pay raise, you will be confident, you will be comfortable, you will know that you have your material organized and ready, and all of those fears that you're having or any apprehensions you're having, any doubts you're having, those will all be pushed aside and diminished to the point that they are not a hindrance to you when you actually go to do your presentation. That's what this series is about, and I want to help you get to your goal. All right. Thank you very much for listening to this one, and we want to move on to the next step. So when you're ready, you have the time, move on to step 3. I'm Rick Richardson. This is the Salary Step Up series. Thank you for watching.